understand that the consumer is looking for our product in the beginning, possibly, because remember, they have a need that they want to fill. They have a problem that they want to solve, okay? So let's say the consumer is out there and they have a problem. They have something they need. So as a consumer, what do we do if we have a problem, if we have something we need? Well, 25 years ago, we used to have to ask someone, hey, do you know where I can get a pair of red sneakers, right? And they would say, oh yeah, go to Professor Ken's shoe shop on 35th Street, and they should have a nice selection of red sneakers. I was there a few months back, and we bought it, and things were great, and that's how we got the store. Or we used to go into this thing called the Yellow Pages, right? And we would open up the Yellow Pages and look for a shoe store. That's if we're not familiar with the shoe stores in a particular neighborhood. And that's how we would find a product. We would either have to have someone that knows about it, we would have to have it in our mind already, hey, we drove by this store that has a product, now I'll go back and check out if they have red shoes, or look at the Yellow Pages. Those are the type of options that we had. Nowadays, what do? We have something better than the Yellow Pages, and that's called the internet, right? So in my mind, and I am what we call part of this, because I'm a Gen Xer, I have one foot on what we call the analog world and one foot on the digital world. So they call us also the analog generation. So I've been around before the internet, and I've adjusted my life to the internet now, right? The millennials are almost like us. They were born, let's say, in the early 90s. They were coming out. They were babies as the internet started hitting. And now the Gen Zers, of course, are all born with the internet. So they don't know life at all pre-internet. That's all they know is the internet. So now I want a pair of red sneakers. What do? Well, I jump on this thing called the internet, go into Google. Google is probably most preferences for people's search engines, right? So the leader in search engines. We jump onto Google and we put in red sneakers. But then do we put in red sneakers, or do we put in where can I buy red sneakers, or red sneakers near me, or something like that? Now Google has gotten smarter over the years. Their algorithms have gotten a lot smarter. So they're able to distinguish what a product search is and what a general information search is, and they're pretty good at that. We don't know exactly how Google does it. We have good ideas, and we use a lot of marketing techniques to try to get up to that, what we call the SERP, which is the search engine results page. That's basically that first page that you see when you go in there, okay, when you go into Google. So we put in red sneakers. Google's going to say, oh, they must be shopping for red sneakers. So what do? They put up in that little shopping section, you see some red sneakers, right? Or you might see a local Google map that has local shoe shops, because Google's saying you're in Miami, Florida, here's a couple of places that are close to you, go check out if you want to buy red sneakers, or you'll see ads for red sneakers, and that's all tied to keywords. Now that whole thing starts with that search on the internet, okay? Now remember, we're a consumer and we have a need over here, and we have a problem. So we wake up in the morning and we say, I need red sneakers. Now, I'm a marketer, and I have something that can fill that need and that could solve that problem, because what do I sell? I sell red sneakers, right? So basically, we use the internet and we locate the marketer that has a pair of red sneakers. So now I want to send them information that's going to help them make that purchase decision. This is all that content in the middle here, okay? So that content is in the middle, and that could be a lot of different things. It could be stories, it could be ads, it could be just information about the sneaker. All that is content. So this piece over here, when we talk about promotion, that's now where that goes into. So that promotion is in there. in this content is an explanation of everything, product, right, and even price. And sometimes you have place in here too. So you notice that we're using the 4 Ps to help us get to the consumer by solving that problem. So now the consumer starts looking and they see, and let's call that Professor Ken's sneaker shop, right? Okay, so now they see Professor Ken's sneaker shop because I'm sending them content. Maybe I'm showing them pictures of my red sneakers. Maybe I'm showing them videos of how consumers are using the red sneakers. I'm giving them enough content for them to start digesting whether or not they want to consider me. And we'll talk about that consumer journey now. So now they see, okay, this is not bad. I like what I see. And now they start looking at the price. And maybe they click through to my website and they look at the particular sneaker in more detail, okay? Because I'm making them aware. This is what we call the awareness stage. I'm making them aware of who I am. That all starts here with this internet connection and this content. So when we think about the omni-channel marketing, it's being present all the time in that consumer's mind. So now if I did my job as a marketer, before you even started to search for red sneakers, you would be aware of my shoe store, my brand, my red sneaker, and you would first think about Professor Ken's sneaker shop. Now, that's hard to really decide and hard to work out when you're doing this because you have to do a lot of pre-work. You have to know the profile, what we call the persona of your customer. You have to have some marketing tools. So that's sort of what we're trying to do here. We're trying to preempt your decision of making a purchase. That's really a key. So that content now is going to help that consumer make a decision. So now what happens? What happens is they look at the content, they look at the price, they look at the reviews, maybe they've already clicked through to your website. You have a special running for new customers that they'll get 10% off or free shipping or something along those lines. So now we basically just help solve that consumer's problem because they made the purchase. So we're happy, right? The consumer's happy, and we make the sale. That's basically the process. Right here is sort of what the whole process is, and this is how you tie in those 4 Ps. Thinking through those 4 Ps gets you through this whole scenario. So what happens here? Well, what happens here is that the consumer now will get the shoes, right? So now we'll go ahead and we'll deliver the shoes to the consumer. So it ends up in their house. They get to the shoe and they open the box. Now, what can happen once they get the product? There are 3 things that could happen. Well, nothing could happen. It's neutral, right? They get the sneakers, they try it on, they wear it out, whatever they want to do. They go ahead and use the sneakers and throw it in their closet and maybe never use it again. I don't know, right? So it's neutral. That's what happens with most product purchases. You buy something, you wear it, you hang it up, and then you come back to it again. You don't have a positive or negative reaction to it, basically. Now, the other 2 things that could happen, one is very bad, right? It could have a negative reaction. You got the shoes. The box is all ripped up. You open it up. The shoe laces are not properly aligned. You put the thing on. They're tighter than what they said you thought they would be online. You look at the sole. It looks like someone just took a glue from Elmer's glue and just glued things together. It's not worth the $49 you spent. They got there a day late. You know, all kinds of everything you could think about that can go wrong with this product has gone wrong, and now you're unhappy. So what do? As a consumer now, you go online and you light them up. You give them negative reviews. If I can give 0 reviews or -1 review, I would do that. The shoes came late, the quality is bad, and on and on and on and on. And now it's a negative review. The opposite of that could happen, is you get the shoes, you open the box, and you say, oh my God, I can't believe how great these shoes are. Man, I only paid $49 for these shoes. Look at these things. The quality is good. The laces are all tied up really nice. They got it to me on time, or they got it to me a day before, and you're very happy, and you can't believe that you got such a deal. You feel like you should have paid more for the shoes, but you didn't. And you tell all your friends and family about it. Look at these red shoes. You like them? Yeah, I got them from Professor Ken's sneaker shop, and it goes on and on and on. That's the positive reaction. Okay, so those are the 3 actions. So this whole section is what we call the buyer's behavior part, and this is the last part of buyer's behavior, where you're going to have a reaction to it. Sometimes we have what we call buyer's remorse, where we regret buying something. But other times we have, a very jubilant type of, I can't believe this experience was the best I've ever had. Most times it's neutral. Now, when we're out there marketing, we always want to achieve this best experience, because we're taking the consumer through a journey. And the journey begins with an awareness stage. We want you to be aware of the product. That's how we use the content to get in front of you. We want you to consider making a purchase of the product. That's where we can use a combination of the content, which is tied into the promotion, the place, and even the price. We're giving you these buying triggers to go ahead, these call to actions to go ahead and make a purchase. And then we want you to convert and make that purchase. Now, after you make that one purchase, the next part of this is retention. We want you to come back and buy again, because one sale is important, but the second sale, the third sale, the fourth sale, that's what makes a business. That's what drives the business. And then finally, after you make that third, fourth, and fifth sale, that's the retention part, there's what we call the brand advocacy, the brand champion. Now, when you're a brand champion, you automatically go out and you tell everybody about your product and your service. You're bragging about how good that product and service is. That's this happy face over here. To build our business, we want as many brand champions as possible, because this whole process is a relationship. We want to build a relationship. Now, when we think about this whole omni-channel approach, that relationship starts sometimes before you even start thinking about making that purchase of a product. Maybe you start seeing ads. Like, I'll give you an example. If we watch a TV ad, we watch the television. Now, I know a lot of us don't watch regular TV anymore, but nowadays if you're on YouTube, you'll get an ad, right, before you see the YouTube, if you don't have like YouTube Plus or anything like that, or if you're watching Hulu or whatever, or some type of streaming network, you might see an ad come up before that video or that movie starts. Well, that's targeted based on your demographics. And you may not be in the market right now for a car, let's say, or a trip to Mexico, whatever it is. But somehow in your profile, they're able to target you, and they put this ad up in front of you, more or less, okay? And when you're ready, you, in your mind, you're thinking of that product or service. I'll give you a great example. So growing up in New York, we eat, there's a restaurant style, it says Jewish deli, and they do like corned beef pastrami, and they do sandwiches, and there's a sandwich called the Reuben sandwich. It's basically a pastrami with sauerkraut and Swiss cheese on rye bread with mustard or Thousand Island dressing or something like that, okay. It's a typical New York sandwich. You can get it here in some places in Miami, which I've fortunately found. So I was on YouTube, and I normally end my, I know I'm odd, but I normally end my night with YouTube, 30 minutes of YouTube. And I look at all kinds of different things. You go down this, what we call that YouTube rabbit hole, right? You start here, and then you end up all the way down here. You're like, how did I get to this spot? Help me out. So I was looking up Reuben sandwiches, how to make a Reuben sandwich, the best Reuben sandwich, things of that nature. And I ended up on a place that's here in Florida. It's actually in northern Florida. But before I opened up before that video started, an ad popped up for 2J's Deli, which is, they used to have a couple down here in South Florida. I think they're mostly up North Florida now. But what do you think they make in 2J's Deli? They make pastrami sandwiches, right? So they targeted me with that ad based on what I was looking for. Now, if we had a 2J's and I was looking for a pastrami sandwich, I probably would say, oh yeah, 2J's, I saw the ad, I'll go and get that. So that's what that targeted is. So now I'm giving you content, I'm giving you information before you even make that purchase. So when you come up and you have that need, when you have that problem, I want a pastrami sandwich, oh wait, I saw an ad for 2J's, let's go check that place out. What do you think these influencers are doing now when you go when you're on TikTok, right? And you're thumbing through into TikTok. The big thing right now are these restaurants. You have these TikTokers that are saying, "Oh, this is the best sandwich place in Miami," and they show you all these different things. And you're not in the mood for a sandwich right now, but it sits with you. And then when you're ready for a sandwich, you go out and get it. And that's what all these influencers are doing. They influence you in making a purchase. So we as companies now, yeah, we should work with influencers, but we have to be our own influencers. We have to be our own influencers. It's great to have influencers out there, and back in my day, we used to call them spokespeople and things of that nature, or someone that presented the company. If you think about way back when television got started, okay, remember TV used to be a thing that we used to turn on and watch every once in a while, and there was only 3 or 4 channels throughout the whole country. Well, these TV shows used to be sponsored or created with partnership of products. So products used to have these commercials, and that's how they got these TV shows out. They pay for these TV shows with these product announcements. So things have evolved so much now that we can create, YouTube is like having our own TV station. So what we do now is we layer on our content on top of these videos. And I think YouTube is probably the best way to spend money. If you can show YouTube video ads rather than Google ads or even Facebook ads, YouTube video ads will help you drive more business. Why? Because videos convert. Videos convert. It'll stop you. It has to be a good video. It can't be too long. And you could do a 5-second, a 15-second, a 30-second, even a 2-minute tutorial type of thing. So that's all this content. And what I'm doing is I'm pushing out that content so that you could think about me when you have a need, when you have a problem. And you say, oh, wait a second, I saw that video of Professor Ken's Sneaker Shop, so let me check them out. Let me go online. And we remember things. How many of us remember a TikTok we saw or an IG story we saw about a product or a service, and we go back and say, oh, wait a second, I saw something. We might even go back and search it up. Say, where did I see that video before? And then you might find it, you might not. And then what do? You go onto Google and you start typing in all kinds of variations. Professor's red sneakers at some type of sneaker shop in Miami, and you keep going through it until you finally get to the place you are. And if you're a good marketer, I know that you're going to start searching for me. Maybe you'll put in Professor Ken's shoe store. Even though I sell sneakers, maybe you just think it's a shoe store. So in my marketing, I have to have those keywords, Professor Ken's shoe store. So when you punch in Professor Ken's shoe store, my information will come up immediately, because I know you might be thinking that, even though I only sell sneakers, my consumer might be thinking shoe store, which makes sense. So I need to make sure I have those keywords too. So now when you go online and you do that, I'm following you. And that's the whole concept of omnichannel marketing. I want to follow you around, so when you're ready, you go ahead and make that purchase. And how do I follow you? Well, I follow you on social. If I can get your email address, I'll follow you through email. If I have distributors or partners or networks, I follow you there. So basically, it's a 360-degree approach of how I am going after you. So let's say I sell a food product. Let's say I sell a tomato sauce, okay? And I sell tomato sauce. I sell it on 2 channels, and that's that place we talk about. 2 channels, really. I sell it on Amazon, and I sell it on my own website, direct to consumer and on Amazon. That's it. I'm not in retail yet. Well, how do I create this content to get in front of my consumer? I can show a picture of the tomato sauce, or I can create a video of a recipe using the sauce, or I can get someone who's using the sauce to talk about it, create a story. I could do a lot of different things, create that content and get it out there, and then drive them to either my online store or my Amazon page, my Amazon store, to make that purchase. Okay. Now let's say I'm growing the business, and normally the process of how it works is that you have a product. The first thing you do when you get the product ready, you open up an online store, and now you have what we call direct to consumer, right? A B2C store. You're just selling items. And you're growing your business, and then you realize you can sell on Amazon. So now you open up an Amazon shop, so now you have two channels. You have the online store and you have the Amazon channel. Maybe you learn about Walmart.com, maybe you learn about some other online channels that you can work on. So now you're really on the online platform. You develop the product that's growing, the tomato sauce is growing, you're developing your following, maybe you have an IG following now and all that. Now you want to get into retail. You want to be on the shelf in Walmart. You want to be on the shelf in Publix here in Florida, or Kroger. Okay, that's your goal. Well, right now they're looking at new products, and they're actually taking a look at what's happening online. They're looking at the IG feeds. They're looking at what you're doing on Amazon. Because if you're selling really good there, you probably would, that brand equity, that brand value will transfer nicely into the store. So now to get on a shelf, you have to start that whole process. So now you are in the store, you're on your direct website, and you're on Amazon. So now if you're a consumer and you need Professor Ken's tomato sauce, you have the opportunity to go anywhere, right? You can get out of your car, go to the store that you shop in every week or every other week, and you see Professor Ken's tomato sauce. You could just go online and buy it from Amazon. You could just go to my website and buy it from there direct. So that's really the approach. So now you're able to buy the product everywhere you need to buy the product. So what I need to do as a marketer now is make sure I'm giving you enough information and enough content to follow you around so that you convert and make that purchase. That's really what this is all about.